Hey y'all, it's your girl Sharita, the Behavior and Literacy Strategist, coming at you from the Morgan Unlimited Growth Institute, where you can find solutions for both your child's behavior and literacy challenges. How y'all doing today? I have a really good one for you. It's about your child's literacy growth plan, okay? I talk to moms, a lot of moms who have wonderful, amazing children who are struggling in school because they're reading below grade level, okay? You know how serious this is? Think about your child going to school or showing up to class and they're in the 5th grade, but they're reading on a 2nd grade level or a 1st grade level, okay? Then that means that whatever is in the textbooks, whatever are in the worksheets, whatever the teacher's writing on a board, your child is struggling. They are struggling. They are not able to keep up. They're not able to read everything on their own. They're not able to understand everything on their own. And then there's a delay. So when it's time for them to do their work, there's a big delay because they can't independently read everything. And they should be able to independently read everything, or at least if they come across words that they don't know, be able to have some strategies to break them up, okay? So if your child is not reading on or above their grade level, you need to tell yourself right now that that is unacceptable and you're about to do something about it, okay? And I'm about to give you 3 tips for an amazing literacy growth plan for your child. 3 things that you need to focus on, 3 things that I focus on when I'm coaching kids who are struggling with their literacy and struggling to do their classwork independently, do their homework independently. They can't read the directions, you know what I mean? And they can't read all of the questions. So I'm just going to tell you 3 things, 3 tips. But first, I want to tell you how important this is. A lot of our kids are struggling and reading below grade level, and they have behaviors to match. What do I mean behaviors to match? When it's time for them to do their work and they can't read the work and they're worried about getting things wrong, a lot of times they misbehave, and they become unfocused, they become distracted, they drop their pencil 1,000 times, or they want to ask to use the bathroom. That's a classic one. When I'm doing a consultation with kids and I tell them, okay, I want you to spell something for me, and they're nervous about spelling it because they think they may get it wrong, immediately they're like, can I use the bathroom? Some of them either try to dart out of the room in the middle of the consultation. Why? Because these things, these tasks, reading something that they know they're not going to be able to read, reading aloud, writing and worrying about spelling, misspelling words, or missing a capitalization or punctuation makes kids feel uncomfortable, and they're trying to do whatever they can to get out of it. And if you notice that during school time or homework time, especially when they're supposed to sit and do their work by themselves, you get a lot of behavior that has a lot to do with it. So that's why it's very important to understand there's a very strong link between behavior challenges and literacy challenges. And we can't solve one without the other, y'all. We can't be like, okay, I'm going to teach my child to read, and then all this behavior is getting in the way when you're trying to help your child improve their reading, okay? And then you can't not improve their reading if it's causing them anxiety and causing the behavior. You're trying to fix the behavior problems, but they still can't read. Do you understand what I'm saying? So that's why here at the Morgan Unlimited Growth Institute, we do both at the same time, okay? So just you get an understanding, because we have some new followers, and I want to make sure new followers on the same page as the rest of us. I want to make sure you understand what we are doing here, okay? We're moms who are improving our children's behavior and literacy right from home. And I have experience as a mental health specialist and a special education teacher, but I'm also a mom. And first and foremost, I am a mom, and I've been through a lot of the stuff that y'all have been through with y'all kids. I've been through with mine, okay? So I'm here to give you tips on what works professionally and also what works as a mom. All right, because we need our own special space as moms. All right. Now, let's get into it. Tip number 1, okay? For a dynamite literacy growth plan to grow your child's literacy is replace. Tip number 1, replace. You want to know what your child missed. If your child is in 5th grade and they're reading on the 1st grade level, you want to know specifically what they are missing. What should they know at the 5th grade level that they don't know? Okay? And whatever that is, they need to have it replaced. That's why I always tell my students, if you don't know, you will know. Okay? If you don't know, you will know. All right? So that's tip number 1. Find out what your child doesn't know as far as their literacy, and it could be sight words, it could be vowels, it could be capitalization and punctuation, it could be grammar, it could be reading comprehension. Whatever your child's weak areas are, right? We focus here on growth. So what I say is growth areas are, that's what you need to replace. You need to get that replaced. Why? Because if your child is in school and they are trying to learn on the 5th grade level, honey, but they did not master what they were supposed to master in the 1st grade, or they forgot it, or like I said, it just wasn't mastered, or the 2nd grade or the 3rd grade, then there's no way they're going to be able to keep up on the 5th grade level. And we don't want them to keep up. We want them to function independently. We don't want them running after the bus, honey. We want them to be driving the bus. Right, Iona? What's up, girl? What's up? What's up, sis? Thank you for stopping by. I'm talking about 3 tips for a literacy growth plan for kids who are struggling with their literacy and reading below grade level. The first one was replace. Find out whatever your child knows or doesn't know that they should know in the 5th grade, and replace it. Okay, make up a plan to replace it. Give it to them. That means that they are ill-equipped, and we need to make sure that they have the tool belt with all the tools to function on grade level. Okay, and I'm like a hawk. Okay, I'm looking for stuff for my students. I'm looking for things that they should know right now that they don't know, and then whatever they don't know, they will know. That's my motto. Okay, number two, y'all. All right. Number 2 tip for a dynamite literacy growth plan for your child is mastery. Mastery. I'm a fanatic about mastery. And what I mean is, I don't mean for them to learn it, right? Because we talk about replacing. I don't want them to just learn it. I want them to master it. I want them to know it so well that it's like second nature to them now, okay? These kids are starving for this knowledge. They really are. How do I know that? When I first start working with them, okay, because it's anxiety provoking for them, or they know they're going to get it wrong. A lot of kids, it affects their self-esteem to be getting words wrong all the time when they're trying to read, not know how to read certain words, spelling things wrong. They run from me in the beginning, but as soon as they get used to my coaching style, and as soon as they start to find success, to get those mini successes in the beginning, they are hungry for it. My newest student was like, can we do another one? Right? They are thirsty for it. And when you get them thirsty to go to the next level and to get more and more and more, because they're like, okay, I know how to do this now. I'm getting this, right? That's when you are propelling them towards mastery. We don't want to just kind of know it. We want to master it. And that's where your child's confidence is going to come from. Okay? So tip number 1, replace. Tip number 2, mastery. We want mastery. So when your child is in school and it's time for them to take one of those state tests, y'all, okay, they feel confident. And they're not rushing through it because they just want to get it over with. They are slowing down and paying attention because they feel confident that they are going to do well. We want mastery, all right? Number 3 tip. This is going to help your child achieve mastery in their growth areas, is review. Review. They're learning is it should be challenging. And when they learn something, go to the next level. I'm always challenging my students, right? But I'm always reviewing at the same time. Every couple of weeks or every month, I'm reviewing with them things that they couldn't do before, so it stays fresh. And everything that your child was supposed to learn that they didn't learn, you got to think of it like a building block and a foundation of a house, okay? And you want those building blocks in that foundation to stay firm. So you teach it to them and they got it and they feel good and they're confident. And what's going to happen is when they're learning the next thing, that's going to be a building block to help them for the next thing. First of all, the way they learn and they have more confidence, but their brain is now working on different strategies and stuff, they're going to learn it quicker. All right? Secondly, let's say for sight words, they didn't know this, they couldn't read at all, but they didn't know their sight words, and now you have them, they master sight words. Now when you want to have them start reading it in sentences, they're going to be reading even better now because they mastered the sight words, and it's going to be easier. So the building blocks are really important. But you want to make sure that foundation is there. So every time you go to the next step, like, all right, you mastered this, it's time to go to the next step, is reviewing. Because you want them to, for example, for their sight words, you want them to speed through them like, you know what I mean? So if you go back to review and they can read them, but they're still kind of struggling, review again. You need to come back every once in a while and review and teach again, so that it's like so easy that it's just flowing for them, okay? Like, I got this. They start talking junk like, I'm about to bust this out. I got this, right? And y'all know I be talking junk too. I'm like, man, you don't know what I'm about to throw at you. All right, so you think you all that? What about this? I be talking that junk, right? But that's what you want. You want them to get that confidence. So in order to build confidence for your child, you have to give them challenges and have them be able to overcome those challenges. But at the same time, you have to have them review and get really, really good and fast at things that they already mastered before, but they have that confidence. So it shouldn't always be only challenging things. They should always be challenged. But if they're being challenged and they're overcoming something new, then you're like, all right, read this list. You're like, you know, I got this, right? That confidence is building up because they're like, I know I got this. And if I master this and this is easy for me now, the next challenge you throw at me is going to be like that too. Now imagine if you didn't review and you just kept trying to get them to the next level and learn the next thing and learn the next thing. It's always going to feel hard. It's always going to feel like a challenge. It's always going to feel like it's something to overcome. And they're not going to be feeling like, I'm so happy that I conquered this. And if I conquer this, and I'm so good at this now, then I'm going to be able to conquer this next challenge. They're not going to be feeling like that. They're going to be like, it's too hard. And kids will run away from it's too hard with behavior. Okay? They will act up. They will act out. Some of them cry, throw tantrums. Some of them all to get out of doing work. Some of them become really distracted when it's time for them to do their work, right? Or sit flat out not want to do any work at all. It reminds me of one of my clients. She had a 5-year-old. She's not with me anymore. She doesn't need me anymore. Okay? But she was 5 when I first started working with her. Yeah, I think she was 5 or 4. But when it was time for her to do her homework from school, she would cry and she would sit for a long time and just not want to do it and want her mom to help her. And every time her mom tried to step away, so mom's trying to cook dinner, but at the same time trying to help her with her homework, and she was just crying and you know, it would just be a big fiasco every night. So I coached the mom on some things. And a lot of it was about helping her be able to read everything on the page by herself. And also put some structure in there behaviorally so that she can function independently when it's time for her to do her work. Okay? So that's just one example of what will happen if And she was able to do all this stuff. That's just one example of what happened if you have your child replacing, mastering, and reviewing these behaviors that get in the way of their academic success, their academic growth, your literacy growth plan. As they have more confidence and experience more success, and you have the proper structure in place, you have a nice little behavior modification system going on, right? They will feel more confident, and those behaviors start to drop off. Okay, so I know I'm talking about literacy, but like I said, they go hand in hand. All right, it's not just they can't sit still, or they can't focus, right? A lot of times kids are running away from their work because it's difficult, all right? So if you want a dynamite literacy growth plan, then make sure you do these 3 things: replace, master, and review. And have that be a routine, okay? All right? For more information on my 12 steps to literacy, behavior and literacy success tutoring and coaching program, you can send me a direct message below or go to growthinstitute.mykajabi.com. Thank y'all so much for hanging with me. Thank you, Iona. I always love seeing you. David, Mr. Dave in the house. Say hi to Cheryl for me. All right? I'm so happy to see y'all, right? Talk to y'all soon. I'm about to start my group, my elementary group. Okay, at 4 o'clock. I'm about to get prepared for. I have a new student there who's getting used to my coaching. like yeah, I was talking to his mom, and kids at first, they have a hard time with me because my expectations are higher than what they're used to. And now, you know, with the Zoom virtual learning, it's very lax at home, and they don't have to write much. But in my program, you have to write. And you have to write constantly because that's helping you learn. That's why my kids learn quickly. It's because they are reading, writing, and spelling constantly, no matter what we're doing. Plus, I need to see you. So you may be in school, you may be able to mute your button, right, for the background noise, or turn off your video, but not here, honey. No, I need to see you, and I need to see you focus and paying attention. And if it's noisy in your room, it's your job to make sure that there's no noise in the background, but that mute button is not going off, all right? So he's like, no. But they all start out like that, and then they just get it together, and that's what I love. I love growth, and I love progress. And I fight for my students every day, and I just ask for them to fight with me. All right? All right, so thank you so much for watching. Hope these tips, replace, master, and review, were helpful for you. And I'll talk to you soon. Believe in yourself, believe in your child, and always remember that growth is unlimited. Peace.